Nice, sounds good.
Warning signs, and I just found the strength to move. Was it too cliche when it rolled that way? Soon the world fell down on me. They tell me now there's one more chance to save. For the last damn time, your heart's in overdrive. The way the story goes, I'm not your Romeo. Not your Romeo. Not your Romeo. outside the door alone, bruised by the sudden change of pace.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the SharpSHOOTers. As always, we're your hosts, Danny and Juice. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope you're doing well tonight, Juice.
That was a sentence.
Yeah,
I'm doing very well. I'm ready to dive right into this. Thank you for joining us here live a little bit earlier tonight. This week we're going at 6:30. We understand that a good portion of our audience watches the Game Awards, so we wanted to get ourselves on the air now to kind of be done at 7:30 on time for all of you watching. So thank you for hanging out here with us. And with that, let's just get some quick stuff out of the way before we dive into the wrestling talk. As always, follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. You know the Amazon Prime gaming deal at this point. You see the link tree down below. Follow all those links. We have a TikTok now. We have our Facebook. We're rocking everywhere you can find us. We're even on that next social media you don't even know about yet. And lastly, coming up tomorrow night on Facebook, Danny and myself will be on Till 5 Wrestling's Facebook stream. This is Till 5 Wrestling with two L's, TILL 5 Wrestling. They are doing a draft and tournament to determine the best men's wrestler of all time. And it's a field of, I believe, 28, 24, that sounds right. 8, 16, 20, 32, Jesus.
I was going to say, 28 sounds and 24 sounds weird.
I'm speed running here. So yeah, join us tomorrow on their Facebook. If you have not followed or supported them yet, head on over to Facebook, look up Till 5 Wrestling, follow them, turn on the notifications so that when they go live tomorrow at 7:30, you can hang out with us. It's going to be a long night. It should be a fun night. And also, most importantly, if you are there in chat, you get a vote. Your vote counts in the tournament as we go along. So you do have a say.
We need your help. All right, help us out. Vote for whoever we tell you to vote for. That's it.
That's right. Yeah. So let's do this. We got some AEW, WWE talk. I guess I'll wait for you to pop it up. There we go. So first off, I figured the best thing to do is the elephant in the room. I don't think we've even talked about it here on this show. But the Lucha Brothers, this thing is out of control, man. I may sound like eventually I'm going to take a side in this, but there's really no side in it for me. I think everyone looks dumb. Everyone looks really stupid here. Obviously, we don't know the full truth, but for those that do not know, Penta's contract ended about a week or two ago. There's speculation he's debuting on SmackDown tomorrow night, to take on Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be him too, just based on the way they kind of set it up. But we'll get to that.
So we'll see. But the bigger story is the Rey Fenix of it all. Apparently, Tony Khan has added a year onto his contract due to injury time. Rey Fenix has shot back with tweets that have since been deleted, accusing AEW of inhumane conditions, I believe, or inhumane treatment, which is crazy statement to me to say. And then also stating something about not being helped to find a doctor or medical treatment. It's all kind of nuts. And obviously we've heard issues before over the years of communication issues, whether it's been with Punk or there's a whole bunch more. I know Punk comes to mind, but there were obviously other instances where people were like, I haven't heard from anybody. No one gets back to me or tells me XYZ. It's all not a good look. And obviously it comes down to like, okay, should they just release Ray? Should they hold him and be stubborn? And I'm kind of the camp you keep him, because I know you already fired Punk with the precedent of the fight backstage, but you got to hold the line. And unfortunately, Ray and Penta, or just Penta, maybe Ray's just a casualty. Penta played his hand with Conan, overshot, got exposed, and now Ray's kind of suffering for it. So it does suck, and obviously if the roles were reversed, I'd feel the same way like with WWE, kind of where I'm like, what the hell are they doing? They should release them. So yeah, I'm a little contradictory, but this is new for AEW. This is new territory. Yeah. And I know there's only like a minute left, but I want to see less than a minute left. I want to see what you thought, because I think they should hold them.
You know, it's funny. I'm always of the camp to... And it's because I'm not a business person. Just like let him go, because if you're not going to use him, you're just wasting that talent. And to me, even from a business standpoint, you're just wasting that money because you're paying him just to sit home. And I understand that like you don't want him to go to your competitor, but like it's not going to make a difference. The ratings right now, I don't believe that the Lucha Brothers showing up on SmackDown is going to all of a sudden catapult AEW, into the bottom depths of the rating. So
No, but
just,
it's optics.
but
A lot of it's
exactly,
optics.
that's the problem. And from a business standpoint, I understand what TK is doing, and he kind of has to do it. I agree with you. Where listen, you're going to make these false accusations. Your tag team partner's going to say some dumb shit. So you're still here. Then you know what I mean.
And you know what? One last little add-on. Like, I know they're not going to care, but like any other employer, like if I was WWE, I'd be like, okay, hold up, red flag.
Right now,
'Cause,
we're
like,
going to start blasting shit on Twitter, on social media for what?
look what you're doing. So I don't know. I don't like it. It stinks. That's why I'm kind of like, just keep them. Let it play out. Let it ride out. Who cares? But next point, Rampage. Nothing specific really, but just on the whole. I mean, I know it seems like Rampage is ending. It has not been officially announced, but it seems like that's the consensus that in 3 weeks time, the show in New York, the Hammerstein Ballroom New Year's Smash, will be the final episode of Rampage. But it's a shame that like this past week's episode was so good. Like they put all the Continental Classic matches on there. So you had 3 great matches with purpose and drive. The crowd was hot. They cared. You threw that stupid women's match in there, which is like, I think, a handicap or 2-on-2. I skipped it. It was like 30 seconds long. It was no point for that. It was just to get women on the show, which is a little sad. But it's just unfortunate. I wish Rampage got more love throughout its total run. But just seeing that, it was like nice, but still frustrating. It's like, why didn't you just do this all the time?
And that's exactly it, because I loved Rampage when it started, and I'm one of the ones who stopped watching, have stopped watching. We've talked about it. I know it sucks, but like there's just so much wrestling, and like I don't mind catching up on it when it's good. And for a while there, Rampage was just like an afterthought, and it was just like, all right, if you're not going to care really too much, I'm not going to care really too much. And it's like, I can skip it, or if there's a big angle once in a while that you put on there, I can just watch the highlight of that. I don't have to watch the whole episode just to watch that one little angle. Because honestly, they only at most do one major angle once in a while.
I mean, major, yeah, sure, but like, yeah, and again, I watched every week, but like they would do segments and like good character story stuff there, so it had a purpose for like the mid-lower stuff.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Either way, it's disappointing. Hopefully, whatever this new show is going to be, if it is Shockwave, if it's the same idea, which hopefully it's whatever it is has purpose and is good.
I agree.
One less hour of wrestling is not good for the talent, and for me as a viewer, and for you as the viewer, for us with our content. Next points, some Continental Classic matches to talk about. I was surprised with the results for some of these matches on Saturday at Collision.
Oh, I loved them. I thought they were a great surprise. And I'm not saying you didn't. I loved it. I thought they were great surprises.
Yeah, I think they were both good calls. I think the biggest one was Okada winning over Fletcher.
Yep. I did
huge.
not see that coming.
Because if you're not, I don't know how familiar you are with Okada, like in New Japan, but like he was notorious for like not putting anybody over, like that was young, up and coming, especially on his way out. Not that he's like that kind of guy, but like I guess he kind of got a little bit of that reputation where it was like you'd think he'd lose here and he kept winning. But yeah, I was surprised. I mean, it's a nice surprise.
Yeah, didn't they call? Oh, sorry, didn't maybe you or someone? I thought like a nickname going around was like the Japanese John Cena. Like he just never lost. Like he never got pinned.
Well, that wasn't not him. That was only Tanahashi, because Tanahashi was like he was like he's called the ace. He was like that baby face of and New Japan.
Gotcha.
Like he was, so he was the Cena. I always saw Okada more as the Orton, just for like a comparison thing for our fans that don't watch.
Interesting.
That was just me watching, because again, Okada Tanahashi usually had like a big feud. So like
unlike former host Matt, who always equated Okada with JBL.
Yes, because of the towel. That was very creative. Yeah, but it was nice, and I honestly, it all but confirms that Fletcher is in the top 2, because he has 9 points. They already said he only needs one more point, I think, to win the whole league, or one more win, and he's facing Briscoe on Saturday. So honestly, I think he's going to beat Briscoe on Saturday. He's going to clinch the whole league
Does he go
already.
undefeated?
And well, this is where it gets interesting. Kind of goes into my next point, but not yet. But that leaves his final match for the Classic, Fletcher versus Garcia. Fletcher already has it locked up. I think Garcia and Okada are obviously going to fight for the final spot. I think Fletcher Garcia at Hammerstein, it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm assuming it's at Hammerstein. I think Fletcher is just going to play spoiler for Garcia.
That would be good.
Either beat him or a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that way he plays spoiler to get Garcia out, and then it's gonna be Fletcher Okada again in the not in the finals. They're gonna be 1 and 2.
Yeah,
so they're gonna fight 1 and 2 on the blue side.
Yeah, like the semifinal.
Yeah. That's my thoughts on Fletcher and Okada. Yeah. All right, next up, another surprise. Briscoe Garcia. Mark Briscoe beat him. Everyone thought Danny had the tie with Okada. Not Okada, right? Who was it? Who did he go the draw with?
Okada.
Was it?
Yeah,
it was
title
Okada.
versus title. Okada.
That's right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So he went the distance with Okada. Then he finally beat Brody. So he got like a win in the Classic. Like he was finally doing something, and then he just loses to pretty crazy. And I like it.
I was gonna say I like that though because like Briscoe was one of the guys when we first started talking about that. They were like potentially could go winless, especially in the league he's in. So the fact that he gets a win there, which again sets him up for still being in the running. Now, storyline wise, I'm so interested because like there's not a clear loser in the league. So I'm just like, oh shit, like I don't know who's gonna win any match now, and they've really like last year. I feel like they were kind of doing that, but not as well. Like you kind of still had a good idea of who was winning, who was gonna be in the top. This year feels like a little more surprise factor across the board. Even with the guys we thought Kyle Fletcher was gonna make it to the final, but not go undefeated. You know what I mean? So I'm liking what they're doing. Commander is the loser. He really is the loser, but
he is.
Curious to see if how Juice would have been with that. So that's something we'll never know.
Probably the same. He probably would have lost everything.
I think so too. I think he just would have been like more fun and less expected with him than Commander.
Yeah, I like it, and I think they did it because they need to have Garcia overcome or fall just short. Like, that's why I think Fletcher's in. It's done. And then it's going to come down to Okada and Garcia, and I think Garcia is going to fall just short, and Okada's going to move on.
I'm going to be really excited for that.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got on that one, and that's it on the Continental Classic, really. So if you have anything you want to throw in during this minute, go for it. But I mean, that's all I had.
I mean, as far as Continental Classes, last night's matches I thought were fantastic. You had Ospreay, Claudio. We had why can't I think of the other two right now at the top of my head? All three matches though were really great off the board, and I really liked them. Even the finish especially the Ospreay Claudio match, I love that match. That was my favorite match of the night. But I think the Continental Classic is, and we're not surprised, hitting across the board, and I'm just really invested in it. I really like it right now.
Yeah, nice. All right, if I can get a reset on my time.
Yep.
Moving on to the Death Riders. So the 4-ways announced for World's End. We have Jon Moxley challenging and being accepted, now defending against Adam Page, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy. Jesus, I blanked out. Sorry, I was looking at my notes.
I was shocked that they did a 4-way. I think that's pretty interesting, especially that they gave Orange Cassidy a rematch so soon after he lost. But I love it. I think that's great.
I think the match makes sense. I mean, I still think Cassidy may have came back a little soon. They could have done a 3-way, but it's fine. We'll let it play out. I have faith in it. I mean, you got it at this point because, what else are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Some things, though, that I didn't really... One thing I noticed I didn't like, and honestly, I'm ashamed of myself that I haven't really noticed it till now, but, like, they got Marina walking around carrying... assumedly the AEW World Title in the briefcase, right?
Assumedly, yes.
So, where are the AEW Trios titles?
So I don't know if you heard the announcers. I don't know if they said it on Saturday. It wasn't last night. It was either Saturday or last week. I forgot which one. But they actually made it a point to say that. To say that, like, Death Riders aren't even like, they're the champions and not even wearing the belts. Like, Moxley's hiding the belt. The trio champions aren't wearing their titles. So, like, they're making a point to point out that, like, unless the titles are on the line, you don't see the titles. And that's pretty interesting.
You know what? Like, and it's funny. I mean, granted, when I watched Full Gear, I was away on assignment, and maybe I don't remember, but like, did we even see the belt out of the briefcase before the main event?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not
because like, okay, I'm not gonna say okay, Marina Shafir walking around with 4 briefcases, but like, all right, then let's get her a duffel bag or something. Like, if you're gonna hide one belt.
I'm gonna say no, because a big part of Orange's promos were, I'm taking the belt out of your briefcase into my book bag. So like, I know, but I'm just saying, I that's like jogging my memory a little bit. I don't think the belts ever come out, because like, they've never lost it, so the belts never had to come out. Yeah. I am curious though, because I don't remember, how do they show it at the start of the match? Because every match they hold up the belt. Do they just hold up the briefcase?
Well, here's the thing. I also don't think they've defended them since. So I don't know. I just figure if you're gonna hide,
I'm talking about the World Heavyweight belt.
I know. Well, Mox has only defended it once, and I don't remember because it was at Full Gear.
So did they hold up the briefcase or the belt? I'm so curious.
I'll have to go look online or find
it for
something. Us. But yeah, no, that's my whole thing. It's just like, listen, if you're gonna hide one, and show us you're hiding one, where are the others? Don't give up on the rest. That's all. It's a nitpick kind of, but I think it's kind of fair.
I don't think they're giving up. I think they're kind of making it a point where the others aren't as important. It's the AEW World Heavyweight Championship that is like that's not right, though. Symbol.
It should all be.
But
it should all be important.
I don't agree with that, because the whole Moxley thing was specifically the World Championship, not the trios. Like,
okay, so then why do they even have them? Why do they even have them?
Because they had them. That's the thing, though. It's not like that was part of their thing. They already had him. Like, that was the whole thing. Is, wait, what's Yuta gonna do because of the whole turn? Is he gonna stick with his tag team? Is he not? Like, they already had the trios title. That wasn't a part of their takeover. That just like happened along the way. That's why I don't know. I see what you're saying. I'm just not as annoyed by it, I guess.
I don't agree with you at all. But we're gonna move on.
Okay.
So the next point I want to talk about is Top Flight, Andretti, and Lio Rush.
Awful.
I
don't like it.
There's a disconnect there. I don't mind what they're doing, but I don't like how they're doing it. Because here's the thing. Like, I'm going to quickly break my rule a little bit here and just say that Top Flight and Action Andretti in AEW is not Top Flight and Action Andretti in Ring of Honor. Like, they talk about like how Andretti and them are mad about like Top Flight's always losing. They're always doing this. They're always making us lose things. And like, if you look at their records, like, yeah, they lose a lot in AEW, but in Ring of Honor, they've won like 6, 7, 8 in a row or something like that. So I'm just throwing it out there. But so there's a little bit of disconnect when you watch all of their content and you hear this and you're like, you just won last night on Ring of Honor. Like, you guys have won 4 weeks in a row. Why are you bitching? But I digress.
100% Jay DeFalco.
Yeah, Leo in action with those garbage coats. I actually have a new thank you for bringing that up, Jay. I actually have a new name for them. I am now calling Lio Rush and Action Andretti the Spinies, because they remind me of the spiny shell creatures from Super Mario. So with those jackets, so yeah, they will now be referred to from this point on. Here on the SharpSHOOTers as the Spinies.
So those jackets were terrible, but my problem is that it fits Leo. Like, I was seeing Leo and I'm like, yeah, that like everything I've seen from your career, I have no problem with it. Andretti looked like an idiot. Like, Andretti looked uncomfortable. He looked like he was forced. Like, it doesn't look like it's something that he was like, it was his idea. I don't know. It just didn't look right. It didn't fit for me.
No, well, I think they've definitely been planning this. They've shown, like, they've shown you and given you enough.
I'm talking about the way he was dressed and stuff. It just looks strange.
You know what? I'd rather the Spinies than the Top Gun jumpsuits, so it's fine. My last thing about this, though, is that I don't mind these two feuding over getting a title shot, but at the same time, Andretti and Lio Rush have only teamed up once ever, and they've lost that match. So
That's what they
like,
said last night. So that's why I was also like, why is this like
it's just
like
yeah.
it feels like this should be a side feud while a bigger feud's happening for the tag team belts. Like it feels
Yeah,
like this
well,
should be a journey at a parallel happening to a
you know
feud
what
currently.
though? This happened last year with the Continental Classic. It's tricky to do a tag team title feud with all the singles Continental Classic
Yeah.
stuff getting time. It's hard, but I mean, they're doing it on Collision this week. They're doing Top Flight versus Andretti and
But
Leo.
see,
They didn't say
like
it's for.
what also annoys me is it's not hard because you have enough trios and stuff where they can be a tag team during like the Buddy Murphy and Alice and oh god
Malachi.
Malachi can be a tag team while Brody's in the classic. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. So we'll see. I don't hate the
that
story that they're telling. It's fine. I just I wish that there was at least some consistency between the brands with how you're presenting them.
Actually, I'm gonna pause you real quick. But also, they have like they have FTR. FTR can give them a run and give them a win and put them over. I know they're setting up something for January 1st, but like they have tag teams that they can do right now that can have a feud while the Continental Classic is going on. There's no reason that most of the singles stars in the Continental Classic is taken away from the tag. I don't know. It's just another situation where I feel like tag team wrestling gets put on the back burner when it doesn't have to be. It's easy to just do a quick. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's tough. It's not enough hours for all the talent. It's unfortunate.
All right, a feud I'm
Yeah.
really
So
excited about. I've been liking.
next up, we got Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Win at it. I think Cole looked very comfortable in there last night. Um, I think obviously being in there with somebody you're really familiar with can work with a lot. That was very helpful. And also it got me thinking, like, you know what? I mean, maybe I just got to go back and watch some old Adam Cole stuff. Maybe I'm just sort of misremembering how fast he was or wasn't. Like maybe maybe this was just how he was, and it's been a long time. I don't know, but I mean, maybe I got to take it a little easier on him. But I don't think I've been too tough. You got my point.
You,
But yeah, Adam
you really
Cole.
haven't said anything bad. Just that he looks slow. He
Yeah,
looks rusty. Like
I
everything
know.
that would
I
happen
like.
when you come back from a lower body injury.
Yeah. Well, it's just what it is. I like Cole, and it's been like sad to watch him a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I
like, I feel
agree.
kind of like, come on, man, let's go.
I agree. Like,
Um,
please get me hyped again.
yeah. Cole won, which honestly I would have been fine with either result. I know we talked about it last week, but MJF came out, actually appeared in public on in the arena for the first time, God knows how long.
Crazy. I want to say since the pay per view,
Well,
right?
I was gonna say yeah, since Full Gear, but even before Full Gear, it had been a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, because that's right. Because he
so
was like doing all this stuff through the time. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So we got Cole and MJF going at it. I really don't know which way they're gonna go with it. I'm intrigued with the ring. We can talk more about it in 2 weeks when we do our picks.
I think.
But
I
yeah,
think what would make sense here because if you're not going to have Cole and O'Reilly I think they're going to reunite them, right? I think that is the end game for them to reunite O'Reilly, Cole, Strong, like to make that like a little nostalgia thing for fans. So I think MJF beats Cole, and I think MJF goes to injure the ankle again, and O'Reilly comes out and makes the save, and like that's the start of them repairing their friendship again. Easy, it's done before, but it will work here. It won't be anything bad, and the three people doing it can do it. And then when Strong comes back, that's your new group with the tag team. Interesting that this year's World's End will be the MJF Cole match, which should have been the main event at last year's World's End. Yeah, 100%.
yeah. Well, that's exactly why last week I said that's probably what they're gonna go with because they're gonna want to play off the 1 year ago today kind of thing. So yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting.
All right.
I hope it works.
Last point, my big one for the week. Man, can I tell you how excited I was last night? Watched this main event. I thought Mariah versus Mina was very good, very solid.
I liked it. And
It got
sorry,
about.
Can I just say I really want to watch it because Raw also did a women's main event, and I don't know if that was coincidence or not, but I enjoyed that both shows did a women's main event and gave them a lot of time, and I want to really give them a good comparison. But continue.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't done to counteract. I mean, obviously, with what happened after the match, this was by design.
No. I'm talking about Raw doing it because I think they announced before Raw. Just saying.
Either way. Yeah, great match. Obviously, you always wish it got a little more time, maybe a hotter crowd, but I think it was a decent match. I liked it a lot. Mariah winning, not a surprise, but the big moment,
Yeah.
Toni Storm is back. She returned last night as her original self. No timeless Toni Storm, no black and white, no Luther.
Which it should be. That was the right
none of that
call.
stuff. And yeah, I mean, they essentially did what I thought with the retirement versus the like killing her off in like a comedic dramatic way. So they essentially did it when she retired. She retired timeless Toni Storm is what she meant. Or not. Who knows? Maybe she'll have a personality thing in the oncoming weeks. We don't know. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I am curious now if this means though, like, okay, so World's End. Do you do Toni versus Thunder Rosa? Do you do Thunder Rosa versus Mariah? Do you put Toni on ice a little bit? Because here's the thing. I don't know if you know this or saw it, but they already announced Toni Storm is wrestling on Rampage. So
really? Wow.
She's already back in the ring. She's fighting Harley Cameron tomorrow night on Rampage.
So that's interesting.
Which I like.
And I like that too, but that's interesting because like I agree with you. I think Thunder Rosa should be getting the next. I think they've set that up well. And even last night with her in the crowd doing the sign stuff, I'm really loving. I love that. That's great. When Toni came out, she's just holding up the what the fuck sign. I thought that was so funny. But I am nervous that this becomes Thunder Rosa afterthought, and now it's obvious that Thunder doesn't win the belt because you're trying to set up this match, and that kind of sucks for Thunder. Like I keep feeling like Rosa gets pushed to the back, and she really should have a run, man. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Well, and I think this will be by design if they're like playing with her not being in it versus being in it. And I don't even know if she's going to come out of it with the belt, but honestly, my gut thinks they do the one-on-one, and it's not Toni, it's Thunder and Mariah, and then Toni is just going to be like
what I would really like, because I enjoy feuds that are just so good you don't need a belt. I would love if Thunder won the belt at World's End, and you can have Toni and Mariah just do a Venge feud and stuff like that, because that would work for them. And then like the winner of that can go back to Thunder or whatever. Like that would be great for all parties. I don't know.
Oh, it'd be fine.
That, but
and here's the thing, because honestly, I don't think Toni should win it back from Mariah.
Not at all.
Like maybe one, but we'll get to that. We'll see in the future. But I'm glad Toni's back.
Yeah,
welcome back. Hopefully,
she looked great too.
Hopefully,
she looked so happy.
Oh, of course, and hopefully she's wrestling at Hammerstein Ballroom. Fingers crossed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to come back to our WWE talk. So please don't go anywhere. And while you're waiting, take some time and give us a little sub on the side, especially if you have an Amazon Prime account. It's free for you. It's a free sub. Check it out. All the info, I want to re-put it in the chat, is in the chat there. I just popped it up.
Yeah.
So while we're on break, please take a second and do that. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Bye.
On your shoulder, you sense raining grace, so it's not so bad. Let me tell you, it falls from the sky, and then waves its way in. A piece of light from clouds that fades in. Run for cover and fight for your life. We're all damned to hell. Just turn around and let your captain save you and fight for your side. So it's not so bad, and it's not so bad. It's not so. It's not so bad. You feel the thunder in your heart. You see the lightning in your eyes. You wanna turn around and go back and start life again. So it's not so bad. Let me tell you, it falls from the sky, and then waves its way in. A piece of light from clouds that fades. Run for cover and fight for felt so bad. And don't say yes, and don't say no. And all I want is for you to say maybe so, but just one forgotten fact. Leave just one.
And welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you guys had a good break. Hopefully you guys were able to figure out the Amazon Prime stuff. No one's subbed yet, but I know you're on your way. Don't worry about it. Take your time. So we're back here talking about WWE talk. We just finished AEW talk. Very interesting week at WWE. I'm not going to lie. Second week in a row where I liked both shows. I did. There's been very little bloodline, so that's made it so much better. And some of the storylines, I'm just enjoying how they're doing it. So let's start off with the other elephant in the room, the WWE transfer window. We spoke a little bit about it on Tuesday, but it's officially open. It's the new pre-draft, it looks like, or pre-trade talk, not draft, pre-trade talk, where they get to visit the shows and talk to the GM and make a case for themselves being traded to the show. So a lot of people were under the assumption, and even some news reports wrote that American Made already made the switch to SmackDown. That is not true. That wasn't officially announced. They were there scouting, just like Gunther was there scouting and talking to the GM. How do we feel about the transfer window ahead of the Netflix and USA change?
First off, I feel like you should be hitting the timer on your time. It's not fair to next off, so this transfer window, because I didn't read like full, I don't even know if there are full point-by-point details out there, but is it only trades? Like, is it always 1-for-1 or 1-for-2? Like, can one person just go and that's it?
Specify how the transfer window works. I don't,
because it doesn't sound like it would be a trade to me. It would just be somebody transferring.
That's what it's. I think it has to be some sort of trade though, because I think they were saying like we're coming to see the way they made it sound. I forgot if it was either something I read or something they said on SmackDown, but it made it sound like it has to be like the GM is discussing with the other GMs what transfers would make sense. So it's not that it would be like a 1-for-1 trade, but the GMs are pretty much having a meeting and saying like, hey, I should take like these bunch of guys, you should take these bunch of guys and girls, and you should take these bunch, and we should just switch them all to the shows. So not necessarily 1-for-1, but like the GMs are going to discuss to see what's best for each show was how it was put.
Okay. All right, well, whatever. I don't know, man. This is really it's just a way for them to be creative and not have a brand split.
Mm-hmm.
So
just like Jada Falco just said, it's essentially a redraft with too many steps.
And I'm assuming it's always going to be open, so it's like, okay, so the brand split means nothing. If you're just gonna,
I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be a specific transfer window, and then they're going to make it seem like they're separate drafts, separate brands again, and then I'm sure like around WrestleMania time.
We'll see.
They'll be crossover. You know how they do crossover like 6 times a year, even though they make it try to seem like there's no crossover. So yeah, that's the W transfer window. It's going to start. Word is that you're going to have like Gunther on SmackDown and Cody on Raw now. And it'll be interesting seeing some. So the big question I have for you, as someone who passively pays attention to it, is what big or mid-card name would you like to see transferred? Not like do you expect to, but like for storyline purpose,
Um,
or because you think they'd have a better opportunity on Raw and or SmackDown? Is there anyone you think in mind that would benefit from this?
um, not really.
See, I got
Not
one
really.
person.
Yeah, I got nothing. Nothing's coming to mind at this point.
The only guy that I think, not the only guy, but one guy that I think would really benefit, and I think he'd be like the new AJ Styles for a little bit, would be like a Finn Balor going to SmackDown, getting away from the Judgment Day, letting him do like the workhorse show run where he gets to just wrestle all the time, be that champion, just kind of like AJ did for a while. That's what I think. I think him and Gunther kind of going over and like doing that feud after the new year would be interesting. Um, Gunther obviously, we were told that you can't hear us over the bell, so I had to wait. Gunther obviously doesn't really benefit from it. He's still a made guy anyway, and not a lot of guys would like benefit from either a title run or anything that aren't already. So it's just one person I was thinking of. Just seeing if you had any thoughts about that.
Nope.
All right, moving on. Speaking of American made, they opened up SmackDown by interrupting Cody and setting up a main event match between Gable and Cody. So that was just quick little note. I liked American Made. It was very interesting how they came on, and the promo between them was pretty interesting because Cody pretty much brought up points where like they used to be Shorty G and Stardust, and look what they are now. And then he's telling Gable how like he has to stop shitting on these guys and how they're going to eventually turn on him. I don't know if they're planting seeds for the tag team to turn on Gable already, or if they're like just kind of entrench them as a heel stable or whatever. But it's interesting to see with all these like turns going on recently. I'm not sure how they're doing this, especially ahead of this whole transfer window, if they separate them or not. I'm not sure what they're doing with that.
All right. It's so sad how far Gable's fallen from the beginning of the year to now. But all right.
Well, that's another one that maybe would benefit from the transfer window. Maybe getting away from Raw and going to SmackDown again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so an interesting that happened, which I'm going to contradict myself, probably the only time this entire year that I've said this. There was an interesting bloodline incident that happened that I just thought was cool. I hope it doesn't go any further, but it seems like they're going for a mid-card belt now. But Shinsuke, LA Knight, and Andrade were all in the ring, pretty much arguing over who gets the next shot. It was supposed to be a match between Shinsuke and Andrade, and LA Knight came out and interrupted and was saying like how he wants his comeuppance or whatever. And while this is happening, Bloodline attacks. Take out Andrade. They take out LA Knight. They're about to take out Shinsuke, and he's just like standing his ground, and then starts having like the black whatever garbage come out of his mouth and like drilling out. So kind of like makes them freeze. He's able to back out of the ring and get away from them and leave while they keep attacking the other two. Seems like they're setting up a mid-card feud with that. Love how Shinsuke gets to be like a very strong persona and not get the crap beat out of him and actually kind of scare this supposed like big feud, big group or whatever. So it looks like they're giving Shinsuke like a really good, at least for now, run, which I like. And I don't like that the Bloodline's involved in it, but at least they get him out of the main event picture. So I guess that's a plus.
It's gonna be so lame if they just give Solo Sikoa the U.S.
I'm
title.
gonna be so mad.
Like after all this, like honestly, I still stand by it. He should be world champion right now.
I agree,
But
or at least at one point over this past like few months, he should have won.
he should have won it at what was it, SummerSlam when they fought? He should have won
so.
it.
Yeah, something or Crown Jewels. No, SummerSlam.
I think it was
Yeah.
SummerSlam. But yeah. Oh well.
So just interesting how they set that up. I wanted to point that out, and I'm interested to see what they do with Shinsuke because, like I said, they're right now writing him strong. I hope that continues. Speaking of a storyline that I really really loved, and that's really going good for me at least, DIY officially does their heel turn and win the tag team championships on SmackDown. They took out Street Profits. I'm really interested to see when they hopefully they reveal how they did it. If it was Tommaso or Gargano who took them out, because they never really said who took them out. We just kind of know it was DIY.
It's probably both.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
It was really good how just kind of they did the whole storyline throughout the night. I especially like, and a lot of the internet like, that now Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano are allowed to be on screen together, because now they're both heels, so that's also fun.
Yeah, honestly, good for them. Happy for them. The only thing I hope is that I want to see Gargano's heel character work now, because if he just starts doing the way heel Johnny Gargano again, I'm not about that.
So did
I
you
think
see the match?
No, I didn't. But
Okay.
let Ciampa steer the way. Be more of a heel with him. Don't be your heel versus with his heel. So, I'm curious to see how it goes. But
So
if it's the way Johnny, I don't want that.
it didn't seem like it. If you watch, even if you just watch the clip of his turn, it seemed like and if he does it right, it'll be good. It seemed like he was going to be like the snickering sidekick. Like he does the low blow, he goes back to tag Tommaso, and he just does like a kind of a funny laugh. He just goes like, "Ha, well, that worked easy," and then just like tags him in and lets him like finish the job. So it looks like it kind of like what you said. It depends on how he plays it. Like, he's gonna let Tommaso steer it, but I don't think he's gonna be like a way guy. It looks like he's gonna be like the mouth behind Tommaso kind of thing, which could be good.
Now, did you see a lot of the way in NXT or not
did.
really?
I did see a lot of it.
Okay, all right.
So
So at least you have an idea of what I'm.
And he wasn't like that kind of like, I know he was more of the like the oblivious character, not like the laughy in your face guy, which is what I think he's gonna try to play now. Like, he seems like he's gonna be more annoying than he in a different way than the way. I don't know. You'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I won't see unless it goes viral on
That's
Facebook, on Twitter. But
That's fair.
and also if you see it, because Hulu chops off half the shows for you when you watch
It's
them.
ridiculous, bro. I get annoyed
next
at some
point.
of this. All right, next one. Finn and Gunther going on to Raw. So Finn and Gunther looks like that's going to be the new feud going forward. They're having a triple threat match at Saturday Night's Main Event. I will say Saturday Night's Main Event is looking better than Survivor Series. Whether, regardless of whether you like the product or not, just the actual card itself, good card on paper. Especially if you like WWE, really good card on paper, and it's definitely looking better than Survivor Series. So we have Finn, Gunther, and Damian Priest triple threat match. Any potential that Gunther loses this weekend?
When I saw they added Priest, I got immediately checked out on this. I was looking forward to seeing a one-on-one.
I was too.
And I don't care for him being put in there at all. Is there a shot? Sure.
Is this
Honestly,
how Finn wins, though? I doubt it.
No. Honestly, no. Walter holds on.
Okay. All right. So we'll see how that goes, but that is the main event for this weekend. We also have KO versus Cody, which is going to be a good match, and we'll run some other matches off kind of at the end there. Next up, any clips of this one, of the New Day promo?
No, I don't support those sons of bitches. So I did not watch anything from their clip, from their promo, because they are wrong, and I have nothing left to hear from them.
Oh my God.
For what they did, and you can waste your time and use your 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but yeah.
Well, especially after Matt Biggie Salvato pretty much did the same thing to us this past Tuesday. I am more entrenched with the New Day. I am offended that someone like Cody Rhodes has the balls to say he's disappointed. Who the hell are you, Cody Rhodes, to be disappointed in the New Day? All right? Matt's gone, Freebird. We don't talk about Matt in a positive way anymore. He ditched us for his baby. All right? Moving on. So the New Day came out, went to go do a promo, did a whole bunch of backstage stuff where like people were judging them or whatever. This is ridiculous. When people were judging them or whatever, and they go out and they get the Dom treatment. They just get booed every time they go to speak, booed out of the arena, weren't allowed to speak, and they just walked out. So I don't know how they're going to be doing this moving forward, but it looks like we're getting a lot more. What are you gonna say? Mic'd in booze. All right, they're gonna be doing a lot of your booze that you like for the next few weeks.
Yeah, because no one cares about them anymore. They're garbage human beings, and they don't deserve to live.
It's ridiculous. I can't wait for them to win the tag team championships. It's gonna be so justified. All right. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, we have another match that's being held up from Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. This is being brought out after last week's attack, and then this week, pretty much Sami and Rollins had like a quick interaction in the ring, and then they said how Sami and Drew are going to fight this Saturday. This is the one low point for me on Raw, was how they set up the end of this. The promo was fine. The back and forth between Rollins and Sami was fine. Then the way they had it was Sami was leaving the ring, and every time that's done, the camera cuts away, there's a commercial, whatever. They just kept, for like 30 seconds, the camera on Sami doing the slowest walk up the ramp. Like, if you didn't know that Drew McIntyre was about to attack, you had time to go take a pee, pop some popcorn, get a drink, come back to the couch, and just see Drew McIntyre just, big surprise, just attack Sami out of nowhere. So that was the only part that kind of disappointed me. I think they could have edited that better. But besides that, that's another match for this Saturday.
Yeah, I actually didn't know about this match until like an hour ago. Before we went live, I didn't even know they added it, so it's a nice little addition.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm gonna go over the card later on.
Yeah. So, right. Well, not much later. So yeah, that's all I got though.
Not much later, you know what I mean. All right. And then finally on Raw was a women's main event, which they don't do often, so I'm glad they did. They had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez, pretty much in a street fight. Great match. Again, I liked it. They let them just kind of go. They let them fight everywhere using a lot of. There was no like slow points to me or whatever. I think it was a nice, good flow, hard hitting match. So I like the way they ended it compared to AEW's match. It's two different matches. I like them both. I did like AEW's better because I just like I usually like just pure wrestling matches better than like stipulation matches, especially if they're done well, but not by much. Like, it wasn't like AEW blew them out of the water. I think it was just a good week for wrestling for two good women's main events, and I'm glad they highlighted them. So I just wanted to point that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. The only clip I saw of it was Rhea like face planting Raquel through a chair and missing it completely. So that's my only context for the match. But
there's
the one
always
botch,
going to be one of those. But of course,
yeah, no, yeah.
That funny.
And then I don't get, again, I'm not watching every week, so maybe I missed the seeds and the planting along the way. But like, I don't get if everyone all of a sudden is like, oh, that's it. It's Rhea versus Io. Like, Io's beating Liv, and it's gonna be Rhea versus Io at Rumble or Mania. Like, where did this come from?
I think people just really want Io to win. Io, there hasn't been any rumblings that Io is going to win this Saturday. Like, that would be cool if she does, I guess, but no rhyme or reason for it. If it's Io versus Rhea at Rumble, that's a banging match, and I'm all for that. I just don't see how that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. That was very bizarre to me. How all of a sudden, like, I heard nothing about it, and it blew up. Everyone's like, "That's the match. They're doing it." I'm like, "What? What?
That's why there was one interaction between Rhea and Io backstage where Rhea literally said, like, "I would love to face you at Rumble. Whether it's you or her, though, I'm facing whoever wins the championship." You just made me remember that backstage 30-second interaction between Rhea and Io.
That happened this week.
I think that happened. That might have happened last week. It happened after Survivor Series, so it either happened last week or this week. But it happened very recently.
Rhea Ripley, who's like 2-0 in the last 6 months, but okay.
Very strange. So just to run down Saturday night's main event for you, we got either Bayley or Chelsea Green versus Mishin or Tiffany Stratton for the finals in the United States Championship, Women's Championship. I think personally it's going to be Bayley versus Stratton because you want the baby versus the heel. I don't think Chelsea versus Mishin. Oh yeah. I don't think Chelsea versus Mishin is the match you want for Saturday night's main event. Not necessarily that wouldn't be a match I would put on, but not for this big like pay-per-view, quote unquote. So that's one match. Then we got Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Gunther, Balor, and Priest for the World Championship. Zayn versus McIntyre, and Rhodes versus Owens. So in usual WWE fashion, still only 5 matches, but at least like 5 matches with good story or some storyline. All of them have a storyline going into it. All of them seem like they're going to be good on paper. We'll see.
Curious how they pull it off, because according to the DVR and everything I read, it's only a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
And you're doing 2 hours, 5 matches. I mean, assuming you're gonna have like a long pomp and circumstance segments, commercials. You're gonna have Hogan probably show up.
You also had to have like even a small ceremony for the Women's United States Championship. Like you're unveiling the belt. Like that's something new.
I don't think Sammy and Drew gets a lot of time, if any.
I was gonna say maybe that's like a squash match. Maybe someone attacks, or maybe that's a no contest. But they just also recently did that with KO and Randy. So do you do that right away?
Yeah, I just think everything's going to feel very short on time. Nothing's going to get at the time it deserves here. But I also predict Chelsea Green wins the U.S. title.
Who does she beat?
I'm going to go with Stratton.
Heel versus heel. Interesting.
I guess Mishin then. I don't know. Yeah, Mishin. I think Chelsea Green wins it. And then I think Owens, it'd be crazy if Owens could beat him. Get the Winged Eagle belt off of him. Like Cody just comes out with Winged Eagle and Kevin wins. That'd be insane. They're not going to do it.
I fucking love it. I would
and then
love it. And then
my last flyer.
Hold on. If that does happen, I believe I lose a point from the crystal ball.
Yes, you do.
Shit.
I want Long Island to be relevant on WWE again. Yeah, well, they're going to be at Nassau Coliseum on Saturday night, and
you know it.
Danny, are you going?
I am not.
Okay, I'm surprised. I thought you would have caved and went. But yeah, I mean, ticket prices are like $66 right now for the nosebleeds. Honestly, if they were 30 or under and Punk was on, I'd consider it. But that's
so
it.
Funny.
Yeah, so they're going to be at Nassau Coliseum on Saturday, Luke. Freebird, if you want to go.
That's true.
And then my last note, not really a prediction, more of a
spoiler.
Rumblings I'm seeing online. It looks like Charlotte is due back imminently.
Ooh,
and
more Rumble.
Well, people are speculating it could even be this weekend.
For why? For what?
I don't know. This is the interwebs.
See,
so
at this point, though, anyone who is returning, there is no reason to return them before the Rumble. There is
That's not true.
For most of these big names, there's not going to be a crazy significant storyline. You have a lot of people in place for any title pictures you need, so there's no point in rushing them back and then rushing a small title storyline for someone like Charlotte when you can expand that. Give them some time. Let them be a surprise at the Rumble. You don't do real surprises too much, so let them do a few surprises at the Rumble. Like, I feel like we haven't had like a lot in a while. Like every Rumble's had maybe 1 or 2. I remember the days where we had like 5 or 6. Like we had a few legends, we had a few comebacks, we had maybe one
Doesn't happen anymore.
It's just so upsetting, man. It's so much fun when there's surprises.
We shall see.
Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up this week. Let you all know that thank you for being here. The Game Awards are on in about 4 minutes and 10 seconds by my time. So thank you for joining us here on the show. And just to give you a sneak peek on the next few weeks that we have going on here, this upcoming Tuesday, we will be doing the 2024 annual Juicy 50. It is the Juicy 50, where I rank the 50 top wrestlers of the year. I did it last year. It was a banging success. Everybody loved it. I still get phone calls about it. And we're going to be doing it again this year. Top 50, the Juicy 50 for 2024. Hosted by yours truly. Danny will just be watching with no say at all whatsoever. And the week after that, we will be going live on the Monday of Christmas week, so not Christmas Eve, We'll be live on Monday doing a Christmas themed episode. And the week after that, we will go out swinging on that Monday as well, not New Year's Eve, the day before the 30th. We will be doing the Shooty Awards. It's our Shooties, where we get to pick the best and worst in 2024. And this time, Danny gets to stay as well, so that's nice for him. So thank you all for joining us. And one final reminder, definitely head on over to Facebook after this. Go to Till5 Wrestling, Till, Till5 Wrestling, and give them a little bit of a notification. Subscribe to them. It costs nothing on Facebook. It's different there. Subscribe to them, like them, follow them, whatever you call it, and turn on notifications. Tomorrow night, 7:30, Danny and myself will be there doing a draft and tournament to crown the greatest wrestler of all time. And you get a vote if you're in chat.
And I was going to say, guys, we said it before. Juice said it. It's going to be a long night. So even if you just come for bits and pieces, help us out, give us some support, help us vote, because we need your votes. Please, that would be so helpful. Please. We're going to be here for the long haul. You don't have to be here for the whole time, but some of it would be great. And we'd like to see some of your face, I guess, screen names, no faces. I don't know.
Not here for a long time, but a good time. All right, everybody. Thank you all. Have a good night. Have a good weekend.
See you guys
and enjoy
tomorrow.
Enjoy the Game Awards.
Peace out, everybody.
Last desire.
Sweet. Perfect timing. All right. Word. Yeah. Yeah. They're going to send the link, and they said be on at 7:15. Well, I thought you were going to do your own ranking and then we kind of compare, because I only did my ranking. Yeah. I only did my ranking by region. I didn't do a global. I can do it, but yeah. Or I didn't even look at that. I should look at that. Okay. All right. No, at the very end. Yeah. You can sabotage. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. And that's a good call. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna look up now my stuff while I'm watching the Game Awards. So, all right, buddy. Later.